Tuperas, today on DOOP by the River, we're going to talk about Lionel Messi. Yes, we are. We're going to talk about what went down last night in Subaru Park as the Philadelphia Union took it to Toronto FC. We're also going to preview this upcoming Sunday's matchup against those stinking, pesky New England Revolution. And don't you dare go anywhere, guys, because you do not want to miss this episode of DOOP by the River. And let's get this started, guys. Hey, dale! And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to DOOP by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. What is going on, everyone? Of course, let me introduce to you guys my panel of expert doopers. Let's start off with my man, Justin Bald, against Michael Bradley Freiberg. And you gave it to him last night, my man. What's going on, Justin?
I'm doing pretty well. My voice definitely has come back a little bit this morning. It was gone, and that's always fun trying to talk to your boss on the phone when you have no voice. But yeah, no,
what's wrong with you?
I'm excited to talk about that whooping that we laid on TFC.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know me. Anytime we beat up on a Toronto sports team, I'm always down for that. Of course, let's also introduce, ladies and gentlemen, the Prince himself, the Prince of Negadelphia, I guess, or the pessimist on our podcast. Well, it doesn't matter because he gives us some great insight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Zach Lobasso. What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. I'm actually okay. So if I was on the pod to preview the game yesterday, I was gonna predict 2-0 for the Union. So I was confident going into that game. So I'm not always pessimistic. I'm more realistic, I think. But you know what? We can call because Tim is so. I love the Union no matter what. They're my best friends. I'll take that pessimistic title, I suppose.
It's all good, man. We you know what? We do need that here. It gives us. We can't just have smooth sailing podcast episodes. No one will care about it. So it definitely is you're a very important piece to this diamond, as we should say.
No, you're on the diamond, man. It's crazy. That's
you're a brujo, though.
No. I'm Gazdag right now. I'm the top. I'm the top of the diamond.
Good stuff. Before we move forward, guys, if you are watching this on PSN or on El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, don't forget to like the live and subscribe to both of those channels. Of course, PSN is your home for all of our Philly sports here. Great people who cover the teams here in Philadelphia. And of course, you know my craziness that goes on my YouTube channel, so definitely check that one on out. And of course, DOOP by the River, you can find us wherever you stream podcasts, from Apple, Google, Spotify, you name it, we're on there. And of course, we're also part of PSN Radio. You can find the other great Philly Sports Network podcasts on there as well. Well, guys, to start off today's podcast, why not get this shithousery started bright and early? Lionel Messi to the Philadelphia Union. Come on, Ernst, make it happen. No, I mean, guys, listen, as much as we want Lionel Messi here in Philadelphia, we got to still be realistic, and we know how the Philadelphia Union run, and Messi is he might be a little way over the DP slot. You know, Ernst likes to spend $5 million, not $500 million.
well, Johnny,
he's a free agent. He's a free agent.
This is correct.
So, I mean, listen, that salary might be a little high, but there's no transfer fee to pay. So,
hey, listen. If Sugarman wants it, he can make it happen. I tweeted at KD today. You know, he's got the funds. He could make it happen.
Yeah, you probably can afford that.
Sugarman might just have to maybe not have chopper fuel for 1 month.
Hey, it's totally fine, man. Like, Messi to the Union makes so much sense, right?
Why don't we start a GoFundMe account for all this?
Because
a penny a day brings Messi here.
I mean, we could also, you know, Ernst probably is like, hey, Leo, you get to play here. You can get this really nice house in Fishtown, and there's all these really cool breweries and hipster coffee shops.
No. Messi needs to
want to come here.
Messi needs to be in a penthouse in Rittenhouse Square. That's where Messi.
Wait,
Yeah,
no,
maybe like a big house in Wayne. Big house in Wayne, maybe.
Put him on the main line next to Adam Booth.
Yeah, somewhere in the United States, Adam Booth's ears just perked up.
Yeah. Although if he does join, my wallet will be hurting because I owe you guys and now Amanda a jersey. If Messi,
I saw that.
If Messi signs for the Union,
I'm actually glad that MLS Soccer or the MLS store actually gives you that feature because I've only done that with the NFL shop. I didn't know the MLS shop did that, so that was very clutch. I had every intention just putting up the picture of the custom jersey with the name on the bottom there, but that was definitely clutch. But guys, in all seriousness here, like this is going to be the craziest sweepstakes for a player we've ever seen because of the fact that you guys just said it. Oh man, it's for free. There's no transfer fee you got to pay on this.
Yeah, but it's who can afford his salary?
There's two teams. It's PSG or it's Man City. Like that's it.
They just spent 140.
Yeah, they just spent 100 million on Jack Grealish. Like,
but salary's different. Like salary.
Yeah, but you still got to pay most of that transfer fee up front. Like,
I know, but I think that if any team's going to do it, it's going to be one of those two teams.
And literally, you just got out of you got out of it on a technicality, but you just got out of a financial fair play suspension that was overturned because the UEFA is beyond inept and they screwed themselves over. But it wouldn't exactly. Well, I would say financial fair play is a joke, but it wouldn't exactly look great if you're, you just got out of that and we spent $100 million on one player and we're signing this player who's making $100 million as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to go to PSG because he wants to play with Neymar again. Like I think that makes them.
They really were that much of buddies in PSG.
Well, they just posted a picture like the other day that he was hanging out with Paredes and Neymar and Verratti was there, and there was one other guy I'm pretty sure, and they were all just hanging out. So I wouldn't be surprised if he went to PSG.
Must suck to be Aguero. Then you signed.
Dude, I was just gonna.
You signed Barcelona to be with your national teammate, and
they're like
gone.
Best friends. They're like best. Like his son is Aguero's son. Messi's his godfather. Like they're like best friends.
And that's the funny thing is like the only reason that they couldn't sign Messi is because of the way that the La Liga changed the rules. It was like the salary rules and much you can spend on the first team or whatever it was.
Yeah, which is so funny because he did take a massive pay cut once he won Copa America. He like restructured his whole contract.
Yeah, but he's even a pay cut from his exorbitant salary is still.
Yeah, I think he was making like 500 or 600 a week, and he went down to like 400. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. Most of his money comes from endorsements.
Yeah,
but he was still making a pretty penny
tons
on his actual contract.
Yeah.
So we still think it's City, and I mean PSG doesn't surprise me because I know those guys have money out the a-hole. But
I don't think anyone else is going to be able to.
Listen,
so not a United, not a.
I don't think
go to the Canadian Premier League. That's how it works, guys.
See, for soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, for that purpose, I think just seeing him Serie A be crazy. Like, imagine him on like an Inter or Milan. Obviously, money wise,
Juve. Oh my God.
So what my dream is he goes to City and then Ronaldo goes to Man U and they just one last year. They just duke it out in the Prem.
No, Ronaldo to Man U.
Why not?
I love him
because he doesn't want him there.
I don't want him there. I liked him when we first had him, and that was younger. We don't need a ball hog like that who takes away the offense. We already have a great front four right now.
I don't know, man.
He's ready for Sancho's season. That's what he's ready for.
Yeah, come on, Sancho.
Just play Ronaldo up top, number 9. Like I still like him and Cavani. Yeah, all right. I still take Ronaldo over Cavani any day. Any day. You ask me who I want at number 9, and you give me Ronaldo or Cavani, I'm taking Ronaldo. Like easy.
That's some mad Cavani disrespect, my man.
Oh, I love Cavani.
No disrespect.
Cavani's probably like the 3rd best striker of his generation, maybe 4th.
Oh, I remember his Napoli days. That was magical.
But it's Ronaldo, man. Like he the 2nd best footballer of all time in my estimation.
Yeah, but we had him at one point. We don't need him again.
It's just nostalgia. It would just make me happy.
It's just crazy. Like today, you get these news, and how many different fan bases are like Messi to Barcelona, Ecuador. Like,
did you see what San Jose Earthquakes tweeted out? They're like, rip every MLS club team's mentions.
Oh, that's true. Like, what was it? Even the Union social media person was like, opens Twitter.
Yeah.
Closes Twitter.
Even the Atlanta people like that one. I saw that.
Well, Atlanta is they're spending like $12 million on a guy, and then there's another rumor that they're spending $15 million. It's like, where the hell are they getting all this money? I get Arthur.
They're getting Tata back, so it's all gonna be dandy now.
Yeah. No, Jason Christ to Atlanta. Calling it now. Atlanta would burn, and all of us, especially Orlando fans, would all laugh because it'd be really funny.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. Listen, guys, we had to start off with this. Obviously, listen, we are an MLS podcast, but the S stands for soccer, and obviously Messi is one of the biggest figures in soccer worldwide. So why not start with a little fun and talk about Lionel Messi? It is going to be intriguing. I think sports fan in general, it's not just going to be soccer fans, but sports fans in general are going to be keeping an eye on this because it's one of the most, Zach kind of said it, one of the most polarizing players of our generation, and now he's looking for a new team to play for. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But speaking of bombs, we got a Bogue bomb, and of course, you guys, I tweeted it today. Bogue bombs are way better than Woj bombs. I stay clear that
the mustachioed Schefter, the mustache, whatever you want to call him, Tommy Bogues, the mustached hero that we all need, comes up with whenever he tweets something, it's.
What do you think? He's got like 2 or 3 iPhones? Is he that serious about it? Is he that crazy about it?
Oh,
I'm talking like Schefter here.
I'm sure he's probably give Fabrizio Romano a run for his money.
I would love to meet him. Let's make this happen. I want to meet Tommy.
That's a bold statement there, Justin. That's a bold statement.
Also a pretty complex league here.
I'd love to have Tommy Bogues on the pod.
We'll have to make that happen.
That'd be legendary.
But Fabrizio's a different animal, man.
Yeah,
he's a different animal.
So according to this Bogue bomb today, so we've all been kind of waiting for this Matthias Davo official signing to
literally. I said it to you yesterday.
Yeah, we were in a stance together. It was like, when is this going to happen? Because obviously deadline is tomorrow, correct? Or yeah, it's tomorrow, and we still haven't heard it. We had the Bueno's here. He's not here, but he's signed. We still dealing with visa issues, but Davo, we haven't heard the official naming of it. We don't even know if he's going. I'm sure he has to go through his own visa issues, but for right now, we're still in limbo. So we'll wait and see what's going to happen with that. But Bogues was kind of saying that they'll be making official probably tomorrow. What do you guys think the holdup is here? Is it the visa?
I mean, I can't imagine maybe it's like. Who's paying like what portion of the salary? Because I know the loan fee was agreed upon. The loans through the end of the year. I'm sure it's probably just okay. Who's covering his salary? Because then you got to talk with Corinthians, obviously, who is his parent club. So that's I think that has to be it. Like I can't imagine anything else because any kind of visas. Like Bueno, like the visas are just that's not contingent on the signing going through. I think the ITC is basically once that's official, that's when the deal is actually official. So I'm sure it's probably just some lingering paperwork that's probably has to be pushed through. But at least like I said, Tommy Bogues tweeting that like definitely alleviated some of the anxiety that I definitely broadcasted to you, Johnny and Tim. It was just like we heard this rumor and Bueno was made official. Like, what's taking so long? And that was a big concern. But hey, at least we know like because tomorrow is the deadline. So that was like, well, is it official? Like we do only have one more day at the time we were saying it.
Exactly. So we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens with all that, but it should definitely be interesting. But so last night we had a match, ladies and gentlemen. Your Philadelphia Union were in action facing off against Toronto FC in a match that I don't want to say it was must win because it's obviously a little too early for all that, but kind of a match you just needed to just feel good about yourself, right? Like we've been in bad form over the last 7 matches. We've kind of talked about it before in the previous podcast. And we just needed to see a match that the Union just looked like the Philadelphia Union, because of course we have Club America next week, and that's the match of all matches. So last night, the Union, right off the bat, I'll tell you guys, it just felt like the Philadelphia. They were tenacious. They were after. The energy was clearly there to start off the match. They had a couple of good opportunities. It started early in the 12th minute off a corner kick. Jakob Klesnes using the back of his head, looking like Kasper Shabilko, using any part of his body to get the goal in, and that put the Union up 1-0.
Doesn't matter how, just matters that goes in.
Exactly. And then the Union went on a tear that would last for 24 minutes, where they scored 3 goals in this period. I want to say 21 minutes after that goal, we had ourselves a penalty in the down in we had a penalty kick opportunity there, and Daniel Gazdak, a guy that we've criticized very much so, got his first goal. It was a penalty kick goal, and the goalie picked the right side, but he still buried that bad boy. And Daniel Gazdak is on the books. He's got his first goal in MLS history. And we learned our lesson here on this podcast that we will never talk about a Gazdak goal prediction ever again, because we need that to happen every single time. And then 3 minutes later, to ice to put the icing on the cake there, a beautiful pass. I believe it was from El Brujo to Sergio Santos, a nice long ball. And Sergio used that speed, man. He is freaking fast as lightning. I'll tell you guys, he outbeat everyone on Toronto FC, and he just slid that right past Bono of TFC, and that would kind of be the ice in the cake. Second half, it was kind of a lot. I mean, it was a lot of I want to say wasting time, but they weren't as, they were at more of like a 60-70, not like a 90-100% right there as far as energy goes. And we saw the homegrowns. We saw some homegrowns, which we'll get to in a second. I want to ask you guys about that. But the Union get a big 3-0 win there. Real quick, guys, we have a clip from Ryan Anderson. If you guys don't know Ryan Anderson, he is he's a Toronto sports YouTuber, but he dabbles into some SEC football. He dabbles in the CONCACAF League. So he's a big TFC guy. And he was kind enough to kind of give us a clip, giving us his thoughts about last night. So without further ado, we're going to show you that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Anderson.
Ryan Anderson, Parcero asked me to be on the podcast to do a short review of Toronto FC versus Philadelphia Union from my perspective. Toronto didn't play well when they played in the 3-5-2, didn't really set them up for success. The Union were all over them, strong in the first half. The second half was a little bit better for TFC, but that first half was the stuff of nightmares. Good players for TFC for me: Achara, Soteldo, Peruzza. They looked great. The defense did not care. They went through the motions. Josie didn't play well. He went through the motions. For me, tactically, Toronto was outclassed by Philadelphia. Sergio Santos was buzzing around like a fly. He deserved to score the goal that he scored. The team didn't play well in the first half, and that's what lost us the game. So congratulations to Philly. They're a lot stronger of a team than I've been thinking, and a lot stronger of a team than I've been saying. They are not a one-year wonder. They're still a dominant team. So they showed that last night, and I think they'll be going on to a great run of form as the season continues. I'm not saying they win against Club America in the Champions League, but they'll go on a good run of form. So thank Toronto for that one. So talk to y'all later. Hopefully next time I'll actually be on the podcast when we play y'all for preview and review, but I was busy this week, so CONCACAF League and all that. So that's life. See y'all soon. Thanks for having me on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Anderson. Good speaking to him, guys. I'll put the link to his YouTube channel in descriptions there, but definitely check him out. Great TFC guy. But well put. We definitely just showed up, and I definitely do believe that. I want to start off with Zach here. Zach, now we didn't get you in the preview. You weren't there last night. I'm assuming you did watch it though, right? Let's hear the realist, as we determined today, the realist perspective of last night. I'm curious what you have to say.
So they did look good, but it doesn't against a team like Toronto. This performance should be expected. Like it doesn't make me any more excited for the rest of the season because this is what it should be looking like every time they play a team that's in the bottom half like Toronto is, or like Miami, or like Chicago is. Like they shouldn't be struggling. Now they didn't struggle last night. Obviously, they looked fantastic. It looked like the press was back to its full force. The offense was more free flowing. And I don't know, Bedoya looked like he got a new pair of legs on him. I don't know what was going on, but
drank that fountain of youth.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's weird because I want them to just be consistent, and I hope that they take this game and build off of it. Something I want to mention was I know Sergio had a great goal, but the one play where he got played over the top and he like had to flick it over his head.
Oh my God.
And kept going was outrageous, dude. I don't know what this like, and he got injured. Am I like he got a little knocked?
It looked like he was, when he was walking around, he was limping a little bit.
Yeah. Hopefully nothing serious, but Sergio just I don't know if I prefer him starting or off the bench still. It's so tough for me because the pace that he brings off the bench, I think if the press is working the way it should work, Sergio's better off the bench because those center backs are going to get tired, and the outside backs too from the press. That Sergio coming off the bench is going to be a menace running. And
it's not like you don't have Corey Burke who can run too.
Exactly. Corey's got decent pace as well. I think Gazdag taking that penalty is huge because we really haven't had a designated penalty kick taker for a long time.
Remember
and that
man's shot last year against Portland?
Oh God, don't remind me. And that man buried that. Like he hit that with conviction. Like he wanted to score. Like you could tell. And I think because even when Jamiro was our guy, like he made one, but then he missed one, and then he made a couple, and then he missed one. Like I feel like Gazdag could be that guy that's just going to score a bunch. Obviously he's going to miss at some point. Everyone misses at some point. But I think having a guy who's confident and wants to take those penalties and we feel confident in taking those penalties is going to be important for this team. And then, I guess taking Glesnes out wasn't the answer, even though I still think Finley should get some minutes defensively anyway. But it was a good performance. And I just hope that I really hope that Jim doesn't play everyone on Sunday. Like, I know it's New England, but I couldn't care less. Like, I want Paxton, I want McGlynn, I want Selva. I want them starting. Like, I want them to start or at least play half. Like, you can start your starters for 45 minutes, get them some running out. You don't want them to get too, lackadaisical and too tight. But I want to see the young guys playing a lot of that game because you have Champions League on Thursday, which is infinitely more important than that game.
The most important match in Union history.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. We'll definitely get to that a little later. But to a little bit of Zach's point there, Justin, what I want to ask you is about Daniel Gazdag. Now, it was good. First goal, penalty kick was great, but I'm just kind of having a tough time like understanding what is Gazdag. He's been here a little over a month now. What did we get in Gazdag so far? What have you seen?
We're getting a player that absolutely demands the ball, someone who has no short of creativity,
right.
Someone who listen, does he take as many shots as we were expecting? No, but I think he's brought a lot to the offense that we haven't seen in the past. We haven't seen a very direct number 10, someone who just, Brendan was great at, he picked his head up and he would just run, but it was always those those lung busting runs up the side, and it was kind of like you knew what you would get with him. You got a lot of pace and a lot of energy. With Gazdag, you get very deliberate. You get very simple. He doesn't do anything. Like, he can do some good trickery, as we saw with him megging Michael Bradley, but like he keeps it simple. But he also adds, he brings the midfield together in a way that I haven't seen from a number 10 in a while for this team. And I think, listen, I think the goals are going to come. I mean, obviously this was the start.
Right.
I like what he brings, and I like the calming presence he brings. And you can see, listen, yeah, he's only been here a few months, but remember, he went to the Euros, then he got, a slight injury, and then they've been trying to wean him in, and he didn't really get his first, I think first start, I believe it was until, what was it, late June, early July? I think. And also, midseason signings, people forget, midseason signings aren't all Nico Laderos. Don't make instant impacts. It takes a little bit of time.
Okay.
So I don't think anyone's writing him off, but I'm definitely giving him a little bit of leeway. But I like what I've seen so far.
So what you're saying is we got more of a Borek Dochkal than a Marco Fabian.
Yeah, I think someone that. I think he still does shoot, but I think I like someone that can feed between the lines. I mean, he provided a few good through balls,
right?
And he also isn't afraid. Like we talked about, Zach talked about the moment where Sergio basically did a rainbow and around the defender. Well, there was one moment Sergio literally danced at the top of the box through everybody. He's holding on to the ball somehow.
That was nice.
And the ball pops out, and Gazdag sees it and sprints right onto it and gets a pretty good shot off. And it would have been a goal for Sergio if he wasn't just a little ahead of the ball and it slips behind him. But he's not afraid to shoot it. I think he's more deliberate with the shot opportunities. And we talked about Marco Fabian. Marco Fabian just would hit it from anywhere. It wasn't always great. I love someone who wants to shoot.
He wanted to shoot. That's for sure.
But I also like someone that while they aren't afraid to shoot, also knows it picks the better opportunities. Not
right.
Oh my God, it's the wide open shot, but something that makes a little more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Should be interesting. I like it, and I definitely do like it. But the thing is that when you have someone like this creative, that means the recipients of these creativity that he's producing here, they need to capitalize on that as well. So we'll keep an eye on that, but not been too mad on Gazdag's performances. I do feel like he was better. We talked about it last night in the stands. I do feel like last night was his best match. DC was good. I feel like last night was his best match just because I saw him do a little bit of everything. Even on the defensive side, I saw him far in our final and our end of the goal, where he was active as well. So I really felt like that was a good game from there. The homegrowns got out there, guys. Zach, dude, Paxton. Can we get more minutes with Paxton? I saw this man creating chances, that flick into the box. It was beautiful. I need more Paxton, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, all the homegrowns combined very well too. Quinn, Paxton, McGlynn, they had that one combo at the top of the box, towards the right side of the box on your guys' end. And it was one pass away from having 2 touch passes, finish it in a goal. And I think that I don't really know why Jim is so reluctant to play Paxton. Because
it's interesting for sure.
It's very weird because I get that you have Gazdag, but I mean, he clearly isn't playing every minute. So why not throw Paxton in there? I don't see, he looks like he's just as dangerous as Brendan was. He's fearless and he just wants to dribble at people. And by the way, Gazdag's Meg yesterday. Jesus.
And did you see they superimpose? They put together the clips of that and also Marco Fabian doing the same exact thing a few years ago. I was like, oh my God.
Dude, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. But yeah, I think Paxton's got what it takes to get more minutes, and I don't know why. And obviously Quinn and McGlynn have been Quinn and McGlynn. I'm a poet. But they've both been great. Quinn has been sensational every time he's out there. And I like I said, I really hope we see them against against New England, because as important as the game is against New England, it pales in comparison to the game on Thursday. And if Jim wants to play that best 11 on Thursday, he's going to need to limit their minutes heftily. I guess that works. Heavily.
There you go.
On Sunday, because I don't want 34-year-old Bedoya. I want 34-year-old Bedoya with 27-year-old leg Bedoya that we saw last night.
I agree with you. So to kind of just wrap this up, guys, we have our New England preview to get to. This defense looked as advertised. We talked about it in the preview. When this defense is clicking and it makes everything better, the fact that the Union weren't playing from behind for once, I definitely think that had a big factor in it. And just starting off quick, I just in general, I think it really jumpstarts everything this Union team does. For Sergio Santos, he's been one of the better players for this Union team, even throughout this bad stretch. When this team needs a goal, it seems like he has been stepping up, and he answered the call yesterday as well. I do like Zach's point. The thought of bringing him off the bench, 30 minutes of just absolute hell for the back lines of opposing teams. I think it's a good point. Overall, a good win and something that we kind of needed, because as we can clearly tell, we are in Club America's head at the moment. I can't believe an MLS club is in the head of a Liga MX club, but that it is what it is. Oscar, for you, my man, we're not obviously going to preview Club America. We have a week away. That's a little too early. But if you come back next Tuesday, we'll have something for you, my man. We'll actually have people who know Club America very well as well. What you think? We're not. You think we're not looking at Club America? Come on, Oscar. Come on now. All right, guys, let's move on over now. Of course, this upcoming Sunday, usually I would be getting up. I'll be getting really hyped. I'll be getting wound up and whatnot, because it's New England Revolution time. But obviously, with what's at stake next week, this upcoming match Sunday really doesn't have a lot of implications. But of course, guys, that does not matter, because I am so proud that we finally have someone to preview a New England Revolution matchup here.
It's Bruce Arena, isn't it? Bruce Arena. Holy shit. Holy shit, guys.
One day I will get you Bruce Arena, so you can tell him exactly how you feel about him, Justin.
Listen, you turtleneck MFer.
Oh, man. You're already making us enemies. No, but guys, listen. You guys know New England really doesn't care too much about myself and about our podcast, honestly, but we're blessed enough that we have an actual great guy on here to kind of help us review this matchup this upcoming Sunday. So without further ado, please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Greg from the Revolution Recap. What's up, Greg? How you doing, man?
Hi, it's nice to be here with you guys. I appreciate you having us on. And I guess I come in peace, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually am the third of Revolution Recap. I'm actually a displaced New Englander, and I live in Delaware County. So I follow the team from abroad. So I come in peace. I'm probably going to be the nicest Revolution fan you guys are going to ever, the most pro Philly fan you guys will find, because I have to live amongst you people. So,
dude, that is crazy. Are you a Delco kid?
Yeah, well, not a Delco kid. I've lived in the Philadelphia area for a few years now. My wife dragged me down here for college purposes. So it was kind of a hesitant thing, but I am among you guys. So.
Okay. So are you originally from like the Massachusetts area or somewhere?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a New England, born and raised. But I've been here for the past few years. Unfortunately, in 2017, I see that Eagles background, so I won't hold that against you. Bit of a rough patch living during that time, but
I hear you.
We got our kind of revenge last year in the playoffs a little bit, so I call a little even.
Yeah, you guys definitely did. That was one of the worst nights of my life. I'm not even kidding. No, but it's a good point. Hold on to that point, because I definitely have something to ask about you. But first off, Greg, before we get into anything, listen, we obviously here in Philadelphia, we don't know a lot about Revolution Recap. We're extremely honored to have you on here. But who the hell is Revolution Recap? Tell us a little bit about what you guys are all about there.
Yeah, so Revolution Recap started actually in the mid-2000s. My podcast partner, Sean Donahue. Yeah, mid-2000s, MLS 1.0.
Oh, my Lord, the stories.
Sean did, my friend Sean Donahue did a radio show in Rhode Island and kind of gave coverage of the team at that time. It was pretty small. It's a local radio station. Eventually, Sean created a website called New England Soccer Today, which I joined. I met him in college. And so we kind of did, beat writer stuff throughout the mid 2010s. And then kind of life got in the way. We couldn't keep up with the beat reporter type stuff. So we transitioned to kind of a once a week podcast, which is Revolution Recaps. We kind of brought back that name. And so it's kind of, we brought it back to life. And we're in year 4 of kind of the rebooted version. We brought on Chris Valukas, who's been a great third host, who I think you guys know. And so we've been doing that for a few years. And we still do our player interviews. We still have some, pretty interesting chats we have on some current and former players from time to time. But and we do have the honor of speaking to Bruce Arena and asking him questions and having him completely stonewall us and not give us any sort of clarity whatsoever. And it's very frustrating. So that's kind of our story of how we got to be where we are right now.
Well, it's good to hear that you've been struggling with it as well. So, there you go, Justin. So not a lot there to go off, but that is also, and I'm honored. We have actual history. I honestly did not know that about you guys. We have some MLS 1.0 history, man. There's a lot of intriguing things about MLS 1.0. So I will say one of my favorite Revs player was Charlie Joseph. Have you guys ever been able to interview him?
Yes, we interviewed Charlie Joseph last year.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you go to our feed on iTunes, if you go to all episodes, we've rigged it so the interviews are up at the top. So Charlie Joseph is on there, and Sean actually knew Charlie Joseph from back in his time with MLS 1.0. Sean obviously knows some of these guys, and so actually after Charlie Joseph left the Granada head coaching job, I don't know if you guys know that he was coaching Granada prior to this year's Gold Cup. We had him on. We talked about that, and at the time he didn't have. He was kind of wondering what to do next, and since then he's been hired as an academy coach with the Revolution. So we did have on. We've had on Jay Heaps. We had on Brian Dunseth. We had a few interesting Revolution players to kind of come on and give their story. So it's always fun interviewing former players and give them their, tidbits, because they're more willing to kind of talk with kind of, their career and perspective and all that. So it's really fun to get someone, Jeff Lorenowitz. We have Philly guy, Jeff Lorenowitz.
There you go.
On our podcast. So we've had some really good guests who have told some really interesting stories over the years.
That's awesome. Did you ever expect Taylor Twellman would become this I guess soccer figure now? I mean, this man is making rants on SportsCenter. Did you ever think he would get to this popularity?
No, I mean, I didn't. That's probably a better question for Sean, because he was a much more diehard fan than I was.
Okay.
I caught on right after the glory years. I don't think so, though. And another interesting story that I don't know if you guys know this, but I was told that for a while Taylor Twellman was being vetted to be The Bachelor on ABC. Did you guys know this?
No, but I can see it.
No, but God, that would have been
a long time ago. This is a long time ago.
That's really funny.
I said no because he wasn't interested in being in the spotlight or something.
Well, it's too late.
Yeah, now look at him now. But no, I mean, his career unfortunately ended.
I know,
sooner than it should have. And but it's great to see him find something post-career playing career that he's happy with. So I know he's not everyone's favorite commentator, but it's exciting to see him at least be a growing voice for soccer.
He was actually here, right?
Lawless. He's better than Alexi Lawless, so that's something.
Yeah, but that would have been great a tidbit to know when we had him on the Union Happy Hour in November. That would have been a great tidbit to ask him.
You guys got to get him back on.
That's so funny.
Apparently he's a big fan of the show too, so I'm sure you can just get him on with that. You can just talk with Bachelor with him in general, I'm sure.
That's so funny.
The one he missed out on. That's pretty funny. So another question I really wanted to ask you. Look, so one of the things that we kind of struggle with, and specifically me, I don't just do Union coverage, I do all 5 Philly sports coverage here. Is kind of like integrating the Union with the sports landscape that's here. You live here. You know how crazy, these sports fans are. I mean, you see behind me. Mm-hmm. And we kind of been struggling with that. Now, in your case, listen, Boston, especially over the last 2 decades, it's like championship city. Mm-hmm. And New England, I from what I see from afar, kind of gets forgotten. What is kind of like the status or what is the landscape like with the Revs kind of trying to fit in with the other Boston sports?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think there was a radio host. It might have been from your Twitter feeds, but I remember a radio host was kind of going off on Union fans that they aren't talking enough.
Tyrone Johnson.
Yeah.
God, that was a whole thing, and it. Yeah,
don't get started on that one. in a weird way, though, I saw that and I was like, boy, we kind of have the same struggle. And then I was also kind of like, I don't even think anyone from New England would acknowledge this on the radio. Like, if Revs fans are flooding the mentions of radio hosts, at least you guys were acknowledged. So good for you guys. But we're still scrapping for some, legacy media attention, so to speak. There's every now and then Bruce Arena goes on and gives a 10-minute interview, and it doesn't really move the needle a little bit. But yeah, it's a little bit hard. They're still kind of struggling to, get their foot in the door, because Boston is so kind of sports crazy, and just the other sports just dominate year round. Boston's a huge baseball city too. So going up against baseball and the Red Sox, I mean, I truthfully believe that there is a market of both baseball and soccer. You don't have to root for one or the other, but when the Red Sox are doing great, everyone talks about the Red Sox. When the Red Sox are doing terrible, everyone's talking about the Red Sox. It's the same with the Patriots. And so it's kind of just an unfortunate, we're still trying to get our foot we're still trying to be noticed. And it's really frustrating to be in first place and still not get that credit.
Us last year.
Listen, your owner probably forgot he owned a soccer team, to be honest, to a few years ago. So he's like, oh yeah, wait, I own 2 teams. That's right.
Yeah. It's interesting when you read about Robert Kraft and how MLS might not, MLS at the start, he was so important to it. And, it kind of seemed like he just had this long period where, his own team didn't get out of MLS 1.0. So I'm encouraged to see the moves that they've made since then. Bruce Arena jokes aside, hiring Bruce Arena, getting a Revs 2 side, a USL side, which we didn't have until 2 years ago. You guys were way ahead of the curve on us from that. And building out the front office. I mean, we really were, very bare-boned operation before Bruce Arena came in 2019. So we're excited that, Robert Kraft has kind of caught up a little bit. And so I can't really say that he's completely ignoring the team. But in terms of media coverage, maybe he could be doing a little bit more on that front to help us get some attention.
I agree with you there. And it's crazy because, you're right about the Red Sox. And I know, like, cities like Boston, obviously the Yankees as well, like, it's crazy baseball cities. But the thing is like in the winter, and same thing here in Philadelphia, like, people do have the attention span to follow the Sixers, follow the Flyers, in your case, follow the Celtics, follow the Bruins. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very feasible that people can follow the baseball and the MLS. Like, I don't think that's out of the order, and I think that's a great reason why I love the MLS schedule, because when you look at it from the American sports landscape, it's in the right spot. Like, it's in the summer. And soccer to me, like, it's cool watching, the snow game when, like, USA Costa Rica in Colorado, like, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But I think soccer should be played in warm weather. But I definitely agree with you there. What do you think? What else do you think New England needs to do? The Revs need to do to kind of fit themselves in there.
Well, if you had asked me a few months ago, I would have said that we'd get more attention if guys like Matt Turner go to the Gold Cup and win a championship for the United States. And he's done that. He's done that, and nothing has really changed. It barely got mentioned. So I don't know. There's a lot of really interesting players that I think New England fans would love to hear about or love to follow. I think there's a lot of guys like Tejan Buchanan and Matt Turner that are kind of come from nothing, not nothing, but they're really young players that are easy to root for. We have Carles Gil, who's a great playmaker. We have Gustavo Bo, who can score from anywhere. We have a lot of really exciting soccer players that you would think a casual sports fan could really get into. And for whatever reason, it just hasn't really translated. So I'm not sure if it's just a matter of it's a hopeless task and we're just in a sports market where the big four are always going to dominate. I don't know if it's a marketing thing. I don't know if they need to win a trophy and maybe that'll get some attention. Maybe it's a little bit of all the above, but it's a really tough nut to crack. And, for years we kind of said, once we put a winning product, things will probably change. And we have a winning product now. And I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me, because you guys are a year ahead of us on this.
Honestly, you're talking, it sounds just like our situation. So I guess we don't have really much else to kind of help you.
Some people are holding out for a big name signing or a soccer specific stadium. I don't know if either of those things will ever happen, but even if they do, I don't know. I thought putting a winning team on the field would change things, and it really hasn't. So maybe it's just a hopeless task, and it's not even worth worrying about.
People are traveling for the Patriots. You could travel for the Revs too, right?
You could. There's really not a whole lot of excuse there. I think it might just be a matter of we have to let time kind of build and have people that kind of grow up with the team and kind of connect that way. And maybe that's what it comes down to, and it's just a matter of time. But it's I don't know. It's an uphill battle for sure.
Right. Now, at the end of the day, we're all trying to fight the same battles, and that's why I say this MLS community, we got to stay tight. We definitely got to stay tight, man. You mentioned it. We kind of talked about before the podcast, the Buchanan rumors, Club Bruges. You got anything on that for us?
Yeah. So apparently, it came out today that he's been. I don't think it's been finalized. There's another team in Germany that is apparently still in talks with Tajon Buchanan, but apparently he is going to be sold for $7 million. It's going to be a Brendan Aronson type deal where he is sold and then loaned back to the New England Revolution. So he will finish the season with the Revolution, and then allegedly he's going to Club Bruges, but apparently it's between them and I think FC Augsburg. Over in Germany.
Okay.
Apparently those two teams are apparently fighting for his signature. That was the most recent report. Now the other weird thing I've heard is that apparently a lot of these stories are coming out from the Tajon Buchanan camp. And so my kind of theory is that it's probably leaning Brugge, and Buchanan and him are negotiating back and forth. So randomly a report came out like, oh, no, there's another second team involved. And so I'm wondering if that might be the player trying to, play some games during negotiations. But yeah, I mean, the transfer window is closing today. I fully expect something to get done today.
Okay. So we also were discussing, what would his position do you believe would be over in Europe? Would he because he's obviously he's kind of feels like a natural winger.
Yeah, he's a winger for the Revolution, but from what I understand in Europe, they kind of view him to be a wing back, kind of in the Alphonso Davies mold.
Yeah, man.
Literally said that. I was like, he might not be as quick, but he absolutely has the mobility, the one-on-one, ability that you want from a modern wing back. And I was like, well, if he's not a winger, I'm like, wing back is essentially the modern winger. Like, there's not necessarily a true winger out and out these days.
Yeah, and he played right back for us last year in the playoffs. We had some injuries last year, so again, don't mean to bring up bad memories, but you guys have seen him as a right back. He can play there. He's a little confident back there. I think his defensive skills will have to grow a little bit. I think right now his best position is winger, but obviously when he gets over to Europe, I think as an attacking modern wingback, I certainly think he fits that mold pretty well.
Zach, are you surprised Buchanan's worth more than Brendan?
I mean, nah, because it's whatever someone's willing to pay for him at the end of the day. Like, you can value your asset at whatever you want, but if someone you could say that Brendan's worth $15 million, but if a team's not going to pay, he's not worth $15 million. So I think that's the main thing. Now, teams could be looking for wingbacks at this time, because at this time, 3 or 5 at the back is the way to play. And you need wingbacks who can cover that great attacking and defensive at the same time. So I'm not surprised at all in this current climate, especially because Brendan played a position that isn't really used very often in European football anymore. Like, the 10 is kind of a dying position everywhere but the MLS, where you have instead like 8s who can play as 10s and 6s who can play as 10s. And Brendan is more now morphing into like a winger than he was ever at the Union, because if you see for the national team, when he comes on for Christian most of the time and goes on that left side, or sometimes plays on the right side. So I think just at the time, Brendan's position wasn't one that teams were like, we need this position indefinitely. They were like, no, we're going to buy this kid and we're going to kind of maneuver him and shape him into more of a winger or something that we can use. Whereas Buchanan kind of just fits into what teams are looking for right now.
Okay. Well, Ike Game is chiming in as well. I guess Freiburg also are interested in Buchanan possibility as well. But that's awesome for you guys. And that's kind of the direction the MLS. We have these kids that are developing, but if we could sell these kids over to the pinnacle of soccer worldwide in Europe, that's definitely huge. Definitely huge. Greg, what I wanted to ask you, obviously you guys are in first place. You guys are tearing it up. It's a good season for you guys. What's kind of been the difference this season from last?
Well, a big obvious difference is Carles Gil is back for us this year. We played you guys every other week, it seemed like. So you guys probably noticed that for most of the season, we missed Carles Gil, who is our playmaker. He's our point guard. If the Revs win the game, he probably has the most touches than anyone else on the field. Right now, I think he has 5 key passes a game. Next to that, I think is Gustavo Bo, who's averaging about 1.8. So Carles Gil is just our playmaker, and without him last year, we really struggled to create chances and to score goals. I think Carles Gil was building an MVP case. He was going for the single season assist record, which is Carlos Valderrama in 2000 with 26. I think he was at 15 or something like that as of a few games ago. But he's just been the all-around difference maker that has been the X factor for the Revolution. And that's why we saw the Revolution kind of make that push towards the end of the season. He came back. He was healthy. All 3 designated players were in the lineup. And they were just firing from all cylinders. And so we kind of carried over some of that momentum from the playoffs last year into this year. Unfortunately for us, luckily for you guys, Carles Gil is dealing with a bit of an injury and reportedly is going to be out Sunday. And so you might not see a full New England squad. You might not see the first place New England Revolution. You might see a injured, not as effective New England Revolution. But the reason we're in first place right now and so far above everyone else on the table in the Eastern Conference is because of Carles Gil.
I will say you guys did take advantage of us in Columbus kind of having a little dip in form in the beginning of the season as well. So I think you guys are going to get that number 1 seed come playoff time, but we'll see what you can do with it because obviously, not every.
I mean, that's the beauty of knockout rounds and single elimination. You guys certainly were. I mean, how many times did you guys beat us last year? I think we met 6 times and we didn't get that win until the playoffs. So, any given Sunday or any given Saturday, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
I knew it was going to happen last year too. I knew it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time before you guys figured out. No, because think about it. When you in the NFL, right? You play a team you play each team in your division twice a year, right? If you play that team in the playoffs and you beat them twice already, it's not looking good for you. If I'm being honest, because they know, they figured it out at that point how to beat you, because you're going to play the same way because that's how you've beat them both times. But if they make adjustments, and playing 6 or 7 times is a lot different than playing twice, and the Union have their system. New England ended up figuring out that system, and in the playoffs, they executed the way that they played to combat how we played to perfection, to perfection. The Union looked like a different team than they did the entire rest of the season.
There's also a lot of close games last year too. I think the season finale, was 2-0, but I think every other game was either a tie or a 1-goal game. And so I think if you watched all those games, I think to the Revolution's credit, I don't think we were on a totally different, spectrum from the Union. I know the Union were the 1 seed, and I think we were the 8 seed last year, but we played you guys pretty well in some games during the regular season. So it wasn't a completely the results were one-sided, but I don't think the performances were one-sided necessarily. So I guess it was just kind of we were due to finally get one to go in our way on the scoreline.
I mean, what it clearly was Anthony Fontana didn't have a banger in playoff game. That was the difference. At least 2 of the games, he has a great goal, and it's oh well, come on. What are the odds of that happening again and again and again?
Very true, very true. PJ, we kind of did talk about this, but how have the attendance been this season with full capacity?
Yeah, so the attendance numbers are very bad. I think someone actually tweeted them at me today, and I think our average attendance is 10,000 or 11,000. But I know that is probably because of capacity restrictions in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. I did not know this.
I do know that the last kind of pre-COVID year in 2019, we were around 16,000 fans. We've kind of floated between 16,000 and 20,000 fans, in the past decade or so. We haven't really seen a lot of growth. It kind of comes in waves. But what does New England need to do to get more fans in the stands? I think winning would be good. I think winning an MLS Cup would be good, or at least a supporter shield, something. Our last trophy was, I think, the Superliga, which we won on the state in 2008. So it's been 13 years since we've kind of won significantly. So I think if they kind of get some momentum and put a winning product on the field, I think that will help. But will that be a long-term thing? Probably not. When we start to dip down again, I'm sure we're going to recede back to the 15 or 16,000 fan level.
Okay.
We could also get a soccer stadium. I would love to have a soccer stadium, but I think that's more of a dream than an actual plan.
There's a lot of Union fans that still want to be down in South Philly, so
Yeah.
I get that. PJ, I appreciate the kind words there, my man. This haircut's been over a week, and PJ, it's actually not a jersey. I actually said the same thing. It does look like a sick kit you got going on, though.
It's a neon green trainer's top, I guess, for the club I train for. So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And speaking of neon green, Justin, shouts to the guy in our section that rocked the Seattle Sounders t-shirt.
Oh my God.
Guy's ballsy.
Yeah, I think I said it earlier in the, like, he showed up and like walked away, and I'm like, did I just see a guy in a Sounders shirt? And then like 15 minutes later, someone's like, hey, yo, why the F are you wearing it? And I looked and I'm like, oh, he actually is in our section. Oh boy.
It was, you know what? It's weird, but it's like, we finally made it. Like, you only see that at like NBA or NFL games, right? Like, you know, someone's got the random guy's got like a Pat Mahomes jersey at an Eagles game. Hey, the guy's got a Seattle Sounders t-shirt in the tree. It's like, we made it. Finally. All right. So listen, Greg, as much as I want to tell you that Sunday is going to be a bunch of fireworks, be typical Philly, New England, I hope it's not, simply because we kind of already talked about it. You know, this upcoming week is really kind of big for us. It's probably the biggest week of our franchise's history. So I think the majority of us here on this podcast and the fan base, we don't even want to see our starters out there. We want to see a bunch of kids, put Alvis Patel, Stuart Finley, put Matt Freese in there. You know, I think that's kind of where we're all at. But like, what is the mentality are you guys like, you know, we don't care, we're gonna get these 3 points, or like, are you guys like kind of resting some guys as well?
Oh no, Bruce Arena will take 3 points every chance he can get 3 points. He always plays his best available lineup. Now, I alluded to Carles Gil potentially being out. As I say, he's dealing with a sports hernia, so we don't expect him to play. That's been reported. Bruce Arena didn't confirm it, but he's been very shady about his status. So if you guys don't see Carles Gil in the lineup, it's going to be a closer matchup than you think if you have your B team. We just played Nashville last night. Nashville played how they typically play, and they just kind of sat back and tried getting a point. But they played some B teamers too, and we couldn't break them down. It's a little disappointing because, you know, with Nashville and Philadelphia on the schedule, the first place Revs, I think a lot of people would have liked to have seen, you know, where these teams kind of stand. Right. And it's going to kind of be with an asterisk because I think you guys and Nashville both kind of play B teams, and we don't have Carles Gil, so we'll have to figure this all out in the playoffs. But no, the Revolution are going to want 3 points, no doubt. Especially coming off a frustrating draw with Nashville. So it'll be interesting to see how they line up. We've been playing in a diamond formation recently with Buchanan at the Gold Cup. We kind of shifted to kind of more of a diamond. Tejan came back. He kind of took over the Carles Gil role, which is technically like the central attacking midfielder, but he also kind of roams from side to side. So it'll be interesting to see if we shuffle things around, but either way, you can expect us to go for 3 points, and you know we'll be smelling blood if you guys field a B team lineup.
I don't doubt that, especially with Bruce Arena at the helm there. Guys, so what should we expect from this lineup? Honestly, Justin, I'll let you start. You haven't gone in a while.
Honestly, I feel like it's going to be anyone that's potentially nursing an injury. You're not going to want to play them on turf. I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason why, you know, every superstar that's come into this league, whenever it comes to New England, they suddenly have an injury. Like, oh no, can count with like Zlatan. You know, it's like, oh well, you know, it's he has a knee injury. Oh, he can only go travel to New England. You know, it's gonna be. So I definitely see a bit of rotation. Yeah, with Club America on the horizon. I think you got to rotate. I mean, I say that knowing Jim doesn't rotate. So I say they're going to rotate, and part of me believes it, but part of me also does not believe it, because I said they were going to rotate against Chicago. I said they were going to rotate against TFC. They didn't either. So, I mean, I would hope because I don't know about Sergio. I haven't heard. I know we saw him kind of limp off around the 70th minute, so we'll see how. If Sergio, I think you're resting. I don't think.
And he went to the dressing room too. No.
Yeah, you're not risking him when you would absolutely need him for your match at the Azteca.
Oh yeah.
I would hope the kids start to show up. I mean, you know, Paxton, Jack, and Quinn absolutely bossed around TFC, and that just goes to show, like, it makes you think, well, why isn't Jim been playing the kids a little more? Like, when you can rotate and you have 3 kids that clearly can play. Like, as I said, Quinn has not had a bad, I don't think he's had a bad moment on the field. Like, every time I've seen him play, he's gone and done something. You just go, like, Jesus, like, this kid could actually be something pretty special. I think he might be one of the next homegrowns to get sold for not Brendan money, but he could get sold for a decent amount. And I hope that they rotate, because it's just like you don't want to risk it with a much more important game on the horizon. But again, it's Jim. He doesn't rotate, so we'll see how that works.
Yeah, we'll see how that works. Zach, do you think there'll be some rotation?
I think Quinn, Jack,
Dude,
Finley.
Just start Paxton.
I don't think Paxton's going to start. I think Gazdag's still going to start, but I think he's only going to play 45, and then Paxton's going to come in at halftime. But I think Quinn, Jack, Finley, Freeze, and one of Harriel and Powell will start at right back. I think that's going to be. I think that half of the lineup will be out. I think you have to play Corey and Casper, because you don't have any other strikers, unless you play one up top, and then you probably play Corey. But I think Jim is gonna do the right thing, the smart thing, and rest half the lineup, and then sub the other half of the lineup out.
Please, yes, please. All right, let's do some predictions, and we'll get out of here. Greg, of course, you are our guest. What do you see happening this upcoming Sunday in Gillette Stadium?
Well, I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to take the Revolution 1-0. But I think this is going to be a very boring, dry game. Especially if you guys are expecting some rotation in the lineup, and hearing that comment about playing one striker or two, maybe Philadelphia kind of sits back and kind of pulls a page out of Nashville's playbook and makes the Revolution break them down. I think with Gustavo Bo and Adam Buxa, both those guys have been on fire this season. I think we'll break through eventually. I don't think we can go through 2 full games without scoring at home. So I think we do get a breakthrough in the second half, but I don't think this is going to be much of a thrilling game. I think this is going to be a very defensive battle, and the fewer mistakes win. So I'm going to go 1-0 Revolution.
That is a very good point. Zach, what do you see happening on Sunday?
If Carlos Hill plays 3-1, if he doesn't, 2-1 Revs. That's what I got.
Okay. Justin?
I'm thinking something similar, but if Carlos Hill plays, it's 2-1 Revs. If he doesn't play, I'm thinking a 1-1 draw.
Okay. I'm just kind of neutral. I'm like, I don't, lose, draw, or win. Where my head's at when it comes to this week for the Philadelphia Union. Awesome stuff here. Greg, where can people find you? And, of course, Revolution Recap, in case they get the hankering for checking out some Revs pods out there?
Yeah, I was going to say Revolution Twitter is not as fun as Union Twitter. You guys got a lot of really fun personalities over there. Hulk, and, it's crazy. We're always tweeting. We're always having a lot of fun. And if you want to join Revolution Twitter, follow us at Revolution Recap. We also have a Revolution Recap Instagram page that I started up, so we're trying to boost the follower count there. Please feel free to give us a follow there. And by the way, I don't know if anyone out there is a jersey collector, but we also just recently got a sponsor, Galasso Kits. They sell kits and all sorts of merchandise. They have a couple of Union items for sale. Not a whole lot. They got a scarf and a shirt, but promo code Revs Recap for 15% off. And they're at Galasso Kits on Twitter. So check them out.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Oh man, Greg, don't tell me that. Johnny and Zach know my closet is.
This man's got an extra closet just for kits.
Literally, most of my jerseys in my closet are soccer kits.
Well, we have one person on our podcast, Chris, and we got this sponsorship, and we kind of put this like embargo. We were like, hey man, like we need you to not buy anything for like at least 3 weeks. Like you can't just clear out all the Revolution items. You got to give our listeners a chance to kind of take some stuff off this website. So
awesome stuff. Awesome. Greg, seriously, thank you so much. We were truly honored to have you on here, man. Some history given to us as well. So thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of Duke by the River. Please don't forget, if you are watching this on PSN or on Ed Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, hit that like button and subscribe. Of course, you can find Duke by the River wherever you stream podcasts from Apple, Google, and Spotify. And of course, you can find us on PSN Radio, where you can find all of your other Philly Sports Network podcasts as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Greg from Revolution Recap. That is Zach Lobasso, and that is Justin Balds against Michael Bradley Freiberg. And of course, I go by the name of Ed Parcero Philly, and we're telling you guys to Duke on. We'll talk to you guys very soon.